It's me, Mario, created using Adobe's beta version Project Neo. What's up, guys? It's Anthony here, Vortex Visions Designs, and I wanted to share a little bit of my thought and experience using Adobe's beta version of Project Neo. It's a 3D modeling software. It just came out a couple of weeks ago, and as soon as I heard about it, I definitely wanted to dive right in and check it out myself. And yeah, just share a little bit of my thoughts and experience using it. I modeled this pretty crappy Mario scene. It took me about an hour's time, and with that I just started a second project of modeling a pretty basic skeleton looking character. But yeah, so far I would say my experience on it has been pretty good. I generally enjoyed working with it. I modeled the second character here. It took about 30 minutes, so as you can see, if it takes you 30 minutes to model a whole character or a scene, then you have to know that it's pretty easy and straightforward to understand. And knowing from experience of using other Adobe programs like Illustrator or Photoshop, it was very similar to the general interface you might know. It has a lot of the same similarities with Illustrator, like scaling things proportionately, rounding out corners, and as you can see that I'm doing with the teeth here, it also lets you blend objects or meshes together, so it creates this really cool clay-like look or aesthetic, which I really enjoy. And yeah, it's definitely very intuitive. It's very easy to understand and just jump right into things and seeing how you can just use your creative potential to create whatever concepts come to mind. And it's generally easy to understand in terms of blocking out things. So to me, it reminded me a lot of Minecraft, just blocking out general shapes and concepts, so you can create some interesting looking characters, objects, scenes, whatever it is you want to try and model yourself. You can definitely give it a whirl, see whatever comes to mind. And yeah, I definitely think it has a lot of potential. Since it's in beta form, I'm curious to see what Adobe would bring to the table for any future updates. I'm not sure if this is free or not, but if it is, that's definitely an upside of the program. And I think it has a lot of potential for users who may want to experiment more with 3D modeling if they haven't prior, that it's an easy way to understand the general concept of blocking out designs in general. And yeah, so I had a blast with this. Like I said, I was able to dive right in fairly easily. I would say that one of the downsides that I encountered of working on the initial Mario concept was, I guess I had too many objects in the scene, so it ended up crashing my browser a few times, because currently it's a browser-based program. So that said, you just have to be careful modeling things or modeling too much things or whatever it is you're working with. Just be careful, but you also don't have to worry too much, because at least when I had those problems a couple times, it auto-saved, so I was easily able to jump right in and just continue working on my crappy Mario design, so I didn't have to worry about that getting lost. But I love the way they have the 3 different renderings. They have 3 different rendering options. One is the realistic rendering, which you're currently looking at right now. Like I said, it reminds me of Play-Doh or like clay kind of aesthetic. And then we have a cartoony aesthetic, which gives it like a nice outline and like a nice kind of a gradient shade to it. And then third, they have this really cool pixelated render, which is very nice if you wanted to try and experiment with pixel art, which is something that I personally wanted to try. It's definitely a very easy to understand program, though I don't know how to do everything just yet. I'm kind of figuring out things as I go. I try to model that spooky ghost, which didn't really turn out the way I'd like, but generally you can see what I was going for, and using the blending mesh option, I kind of just blended it together and made it look like a little white blob sort of thing. And yeah, and then I created like this little Minecraft looking tree, very blocky, just very simplistic, but even though it's very primitive shapes, it still looks generally good. And I can see this being very useful for future projects, either personal projects, or if I'm working with clients, maybe I want to model some basic 3D icons, or if I wanted to model just very basic designs, shapes, or even characters, I could do that as well. I like the way that it challenges you in terms of having things pretty basic, but seeing what you can work with that, with the tools that you have available to you. And like I said, it was definitely an interesting and fun way to kind of model things. As a user of Blender, it was also very similar to the general interface and way things work, because you can use booleans and stuff like that too. But yeah, generally my experience was pretty good. I'm curious to see what Adobe has planned for the program later on down the road. And if you guys are new to Adobe, or if you're new to 3D modeling, I definitely say give this a try. It's fun, and you can be as creative as you want, see what you can challenge yourself with. And with that said, I appreciate you guys for stopping by and checking out this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Alright, until then, peace.